Forget
It's
the
not even
drones.
about the
Worry about
drones, it's
plasmoids.
about the plasmoids. I discovered this scientifically peer-reviewed article about plasmoids in great detail. It's believed that plasmoids might have provided the basis for DNA and therefore life, and that they're sentient, aware, and have consciousness. These things react and form in response to thunderstorms, electromagnetic fields, geostorms, solar flares, waves in the ocean, radiation from volcanic eruptions, geomagnetic anomalies, seismic activity, things like earthquakes, tsunamis, eruptions, even rocket launches influence the behavior and the formation of these. Some of these plasmas are attracted to geomagnetic activity below Earth. Now, this is a theory that I have not heard or encountered yet. Maybe there's some kind of seismic activity attracting these plasmoids, and that's like all, but wouldn't we know that? To an extent, we would. We can measure things that lead up to a major earthquake. But in all honesty, I mean, a lot of these big places like Yellowstone are like a really long overdue to explode. So to an extent, how much do we really know ahead of time something like that's going to happen? These things can damage power plants, electrical circuits, TVs, radios, etc. There's so much in this article that I didn't even know. Like Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, the dudes who walked the moon, report seeing plasmoids a bunch while they were out. Remember seeing those videos of people and their radio in their car? Yeah, it can be heard on AM radios on Earth. I don't know if you've seen the videos about people saying stuff smells weird outside, but they don't usually smell. And these things can play with the power grid. People showing videos of flashing lights, street lights and stuff. And get this crazy part. Various U.S. government agencies have employed and funded scientists who are expected to develop electromagnetic radiating devices that can be used for crowd control and even influence how people vote. So between 2013 and 2016, 8 commercial planes had fatalities or disappeared. I'm sure you remember, but in 2014, Boeing 777 Malaysia Airlines flight just stopped communicating with air traffic controllers and disappeared from the radar for 39 minutes. The plane took a 180-degree turn, flew for hours, and then vanished. It's believed that plasmoids are trans-dimensional, 5-dimensional entities. We can't see the 5th dimension because it exists in a higher plane of space than the one we're in. But it's curled up within or possibly surrounding our dimension, like cylinder or forming a circle. This part really blew my mind. It is microscopic in comparison to our dimension. We're talking 10 to 33 centimeters. So if a 5D entity were to show up in our dimension, it would look like it's changing shape all the time because they can only perceive 3 of its dimensions. As for us, we can only view different parts of it, but not the object as a whole. Another crazy part, it's not known if it's a shape-shifting object like I've explained, or the U.S. Navy could have created it, or it just might be an ET machine using stealth technology. I think the number one question, and perhaps number one concern, is why is our government acting like they have no idea what's going on? Well, listen to this. In Los Angeles in 1942, there was a mass amount of sightings of these orbs or plasmoids. They went as far as recommending that vital industries in the area and Pacific War industries would have to be moved to safer inland regions. But guess what? And it's not a surprise. A few days later, the Navy said, it was all a false alarm and dismissed the 6 hour long battle and thousands, I think they said 10,000 people, witnessed these orbs as just a case of jittery nerves and denied any enemy aircraft had been in the area. When news sources tried to get answers, they were met with silence. Should we be scared of these things? Well, this article says that these organisms can survive in lethal environments, so some say, yeah, we should be. But in all honesty, the article concludes that their level of intelligence or consciousness is basically like algae or insects. And finally, it says their behaviors could be likened to a moth attracted to a flame. I think we should take caution and maybe figure out what is attracting them now. All of a sudden, I think that's the most important thing. But after reading this, I think, the drones are put there by humans for observing them, which whoever's doing that should be transparent about it. Like, people are not stupid. They're going to figure you out. Case in point, me finding this article, and nothing creates more hysteria and panic than a civilization that cannot trust its government. You're worried about drones and orbs. Trust me, that's far worse.